What has more meaning to you, a human being or the feelings of your favorite gacha character? If you have any sort of common sense, you probably wouldn't even think that's something that needs to be asked. But apparently that's a real question because Skirk's VA got harassed for not respecting the feelings of a character made up for the purpose of money. But you know what? Maybe people do have a point. How do we even know for sure that gacha characters don't have feelings? So on behalf of all of us, we'll forgive Skirk's VA just this once, but next time we won't be so lenient. Anyways, Nodcry has had a pretty decent reception so far, and there's some things to be content with as an avid Genshin player, but it's no secret that Hoyo sees this product as a free farm game where the devs just log in and collect the profit and then log off. But you know what? I was wrong about one thing when it comes to Genshin. Nodcry actually has a pretty solid story so far. And yes, I had to watch someone play the story on a PlayStation share screen, and he had caveman Wi-Fi, but even then, I still thought it was good. If you think about it though, it's pretty hard to put something out even worse than Natlan. Considering Mawika and Capitano's story arcs, the ending of Natlan was a lot more rushed than it should have been. It didn't make it any better that half of the cast was doing Mon cosplay, and I'm not sure whether or not that was ever mentioned in the lore that they were into that stuff, especially the part where everyone was chanting about ancient names, and it looked like Kanich and Iansan got insecure about their names because you couldn't hear a peep out of them.
Let us raise our cups in honor of his heroism and send him off with this final tribute. For at last, his wish is now fulfilled.
Obviously, that stuff isn't the biggest deal, especially if you're not playing Genshin in English, but I'm sure most people can agree that the pacing in Natlan in general was extremely odd and killed a lot of potential hype that could have been created about a region of war. The finale of Natlan was one of those group projects that nobody communicated about while it was being made, so they had to just throw some shit together the day before it was due. But thankfully, even though we haven't gotten much from Nodcry so far, it's already better than the entirety of 5.0's story. A lot of people have pointed out the similarities of the feelings of this new region to Mondstadt, which also had a better story than Natlan, by the way. It was short, sweet, and to the point. Don't get me wrong, there's still unnecessary yapathons here and there, especially when it comes to the world quests. And I wonder what would solve that issue. Well, if they haven't added it by now, then I'm sure it's not that important, so whatever. It is what it is. I'm sure we can go another 5 years without it. But for the most part, the characters have real impact on you, and the villain feels like an actual threat rather than the Abyss Order being the major villain, because we've known about them since the beginning, and most of the time we were fighting trash mobs that get no-diffed by base Yansan. Natlan felt more like a side story, but the cohesion within the main quest that you get in Nodcry, along with the gorgeous region, is refreshing because Genshin really delivered with Fontaine, and I wanted to see them keep that momentum. So I would like to be a Hoyo shill now. Where do I sign up? Do I just have to say I hate Wua now or something? Genshin's character designs are way better. Speaking of the actual characters, Lauma is one of the best character designs we've seen so far in Genshin, and it's exactly why you think that's the case. Yelan looks pretty good too. I don't know why people are upset about this one because she looks so much like another character. Huh? Oh shit, my bad, I meant Nefer. Yohada is probably the most entertaining character we see. She even has that Sakura inner monologue thing going on.
What is going on here? Boss usually just says things like, hey, go do this, or you go take care of that. Is this some kind of test? I can't let the boss down. Can I?
Go on, say it! Let her have it good, just like you did to me!
The character designs are great, but the problem with Genshin has always been how you obtain these said characters and how inconvenient it is to build or play the endgame content with them. As a free-to-play, if you want the units required to clear endgame, then this is your job. God forbid you have the school plus work combo, then you're really cooked because you aren't getting paid for this part-time job. The pulls per patch go down constantly, and the ways to get these pulls are made to maximize your engagement with their product because they could care less about anything else you have to do to be a productive member of society. This is important because even if you don't want every character in the game, good luck with team building. Genshin Impact did a great job handling power creep before 5.3. There were always very powerful units like Farina, but it never became an issue until one of the worst days in Genshin history. You can't forget it because it was the first day of 2025. On this fateful day, Hoyoverse decided that they were going to take after HSR and finally blow up the balance that they kept for 4 years. So I really don't want to see any more slip-ups like this from Genshin, because Ananta just released an official gameplay trailer and this game looks incredible. Wait, what is this? Oh, we did not, because we are I just hope it releases sometime before we're senile and can't understand what's actually going on. Okay, so if it's not clear enough, this game is basically screaming anime GTA, which is ironic because of the upcoming release of GTA 6 after a lifetime of waiting. The thing about this upcoming title is that they followed the trend of what we'd assume would happen with future gacha games. In order to compete with a titan like Hoyo, you need to be willing to innovate for a more quality experience for the consumer. Recently, Duet Night Abyss shocked the world, and instead of just simply making the character banner guaranteed, they removed the entire gacha system. And it was only a matter of time before Ananta had to step up to the plate and do the same. They have also removed the entire gacha system, and I couldn't be happier for the space, because as much as people like to cove, the gacha system is predatory no matter which way you spin it, and if you're naturally a very unlucky person, this by itself could be enough for you to not even want to give gacha games a try. Regardless of how good the story is, you can get tired of not being able to get the units that you want. If you've ever felt burnt out in Genshin Impact, then the gacha system is probably part of the reason why. And if you just reside within the gacha space, you wouldn't know that a ton of successful games simply monetize cosmetics because it's a lot more consumer friendly. You don't feel like you're missing out on your favorite design, or in the case of Genshin, an integral part of a team that completely blows every other option out of the water. Imagine having every single character on the roster for free. Wouldn't you be motivated to play a lot more? The removal of the gacha systems from some of the most anticipated gacha games of the new era is absolutely game-changing, and potentially, well, let's be honest, Genshin is probably going to die on that hill of ignorance. But maybe if Duet Night Abyss and Ananta are as successful as they should be, then Genshin will finally change their ways. But let's be clear, I am fully aware of the possibility that Ananta could be just another 9 to 5 waiting for us to take the bait. If you have to play the game for 24 hours straight just to get one character, then obviously that would be just as bad as the gacha system, although I don't expect it to be that bad, but I am sure there will be some sort of grind in general. So if you're a huge fan of Genshin, you should want at least one of these titles to be great in order to pressure out some of that quality of life you've been waiting for since the beginning of this decade. And no, I'm not even gonna mention Neverness to EOS, but Wuthering Waves has already done some of the pressuring, although for some reason it seems like the Hoyo devs were updating the game with their eyes closed when it came to some of these QOLs. The resin overflow is still bruh. And with how many characters there are in Genshin and how inconvenient it is to build them, some type of extra resin would help, which by the way isn't anything crazy to ask for. It's not like they don't have the budget or the time to do this. They have all the time in the world, although they did add a helpful compass that you can level up to the point that it shows you everything like you're calling in a UAV. It's legitimately useful, especially when upgraded, and it makes finding things in the open world a lot easier. Also, you can see the force stat on an artifact that isn't rolled yet, but come on now. Are we gonna act like artifact loadouts don't exist? How are you gonna keep giving us artifact QOLs and then not give us the loadouts? There is so many characters and artifact sets in this game that it makes no sense for loadouts to not be in Genshin yet. But regardless of that, I will say, as a casual player, Genshin Impact is actually pretty fun right now. Now, before I get to it, I'm not trying to insinuate that Genshin is dead. I'm sure there's still C6 R5 kings that casually drop a mortgage payment on a character they don't know anything about besides their chest size. But now it's time for your gacha jargon word of the day, and hopefully I won't have to do this anymore when gacha is dead and we just have games that respect our time. So let's go with the term EOS. End of service marks the official discontinuation of support and maintenance, and it cannot be extended beyond the announced date by the manufacturer or service provider. So if you don't feel like comprehending all of that word slop, just know that if you have a lot of money, you'll never have to end of service for your product. Or actually, if you need a better definition, look no further than Tribe 9. Anyways, thank you for watching this far if you have. You look cute today, peace.